Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Super Review Show's Mixed Bag, coming to you live once again from the J Cave. I am joined, as always, and forever will be by my good man, Bill Murphy.
What's going on, folks?
He's back. Bill is back again.
Back. I didn't go anywhere.
There you go. What do you call it? And by just a reminder, I think we forgot to mention this last week, but we the best podcast.
We the best podcast. Say that, DJ Khalid.
Yeah.
You have the best music. Actually, no, he doesn't. His music kind of sucks.
His music sucks, but yeah.
But we have the best. But you the best music. But we the best podcast.
Ain't that the truth?
We the best music.
DJ Khaled.
No, they're not the best music. They kind of suck. Actually, no, not kinda.
They do. That's him and Justin Bieber, just the worst.
Oh God, they're gonna sue us now, aren't they?
Oh, hopefully not.
I can see the headlines. DJ Khalid sues two random guys.
All over the New York Times website. There we go.
The next headline: random guys win.
They win $1 million lawsuit.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right.
Anyways, we digress. But tonight's topic, Bill, what is tonight's topic?
Well, tonight's topic is a bit of a heavy topic for you folks, but we are discussing the hardest movies to watch.
Yes. So that means like emotional or like just
Cringy.
cringeworthy. Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Just cringy. And, because when I was thinking of hardest movies to watch, I was thinking movies that are emotional and movies that are just upsetting. JT was thinking of cringy. So you know what? You got the best of both worlds.
Yes.
This is what happens when you put two great minds in a room together.
Yes, we think alike. And Sammy Hagar, we love you because you got the best of both worlds, baby.
And this is why we do a podcast together.
Yes, we do.
And this is why when I run for president, JT will be my running mate.
Yes, I'll be his VP. Don't worry.
And Dr. Hensley will be my campaign manager.
There we go. We're all set up. No,
right,
but
anyway.
for real though, for real. But
Right.
for real, do you want to start off then? Or do you want me to start?
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. Okay, you know what? You start.
Well, Bill and I, before we went live tonight, we had a bit of a discussion about this movie. This movie turns 20 years old next year. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, who understand this atrocity of a film that makes me so cringeworthy, tonight we're talking about The Room, ladies and gentlemen. The 2003.
Oh, hi, JT. I am Tommy Wiseau, and this is my Tommy Wiseau. I'm so funny.
I can't believe you just did that.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It is bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, JT.
Oh my God. And but we're not talking about the Disaster Artist. We're talking about The Room from 2003. Not 1993, 2003. What am I talking about?
Oh God! Did Tommy Wiseau hijack my apartment again? Hijack my basement again?
Yes, Tommy Wiseau hijacked your apartment, Bill.
Oh my God! Him and sideways hat frat boy guy. I don't know which one I hate more.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's just
Anyway,
a lot of questionable choices.
Continue.
I full disclosure, when I saw this movie, like I shouldn't say I've seen the whole thing. I've seen a good about 2/3 of it, and I had to turn it off. It was just it is one of those movies where it's so bad it's good. I can definitely see where that argument is made. But for me personally, I had the hardest time watching this movie. Just in general, it's like, it's one of those things you're just like, you're listening to it and you're like, it's called The Room. Like, is there another room? Like, there's the Room Part 2. Like, I don't know. Like, it was kind of a cringe fest for me. There was a lot of crazy, like, just a lot of questionable choices here in Tommy Wiseau's basement or whatever. A lot of just madness going on in the world. But this movie is a really, really cringe fest, cray movie. If you have seen The Room, I'm proud of you because I couldn't even make it through it. But That's besides the point, though. What I am here to announce finally, and I will say this, I'm saying this live on our show, on our podcast, on our stream. Bill, are you? I think
Are we announcing my presidential campaign? Or are we announcing?
No. It's not your presidential campaign.
Okay.
I'm here to announce
Can
live right here, right now, that we will be doing a room commentary at some point next year to mark the It's
coming.
We're gonna do the room commentary.
You, me, maybe Justin. Maybe we should get Dr. Hemsley if he's interested.
We're gonna get a star-filled panel for all of you at home to watch us watch this horrendous movie, and we're going to discuss it. I'm announcing it now. We're going to do a movie commentary for The Room at some point next year to celebrate its 30th anniversary, 20th anniversary from 2003 to 2023. It's going to happen at some point next year. I can't believe I'm saying that and I'm agreeing into this already. But yes, it's happening, Bill. You're welcome.
What can we say except you're welcome?
As the creator and host of the Super Review Show, who's been doing this channel and this podcast now, and everything I do on here for over 7 years, since 2015, almost 8 years. You're welcome. It only took a long time.
And I, who have been on this channel for, I would say 4 years, because 2018 I started doing things with you, but
yes,
I didn't really become official here till 2020, I think.
Like October of 2020, we started doing Mixed Bag together. And we're like, all right, here we go.
Well, we did some of those fundraising things in 2020. So
that's right. We did a halfway through 2020 live stream with you guys from Movie Holics Productions. So there you go.
So I'm basically been part of this team for 2 years. So
yes, and Bill has become my brother at this point. It's really the truth. But yes, The Room. What are you gonna say?
It's one of those movies. I know you hate me talking about this, but
we have a lot more to go. But yeah,
it's one of those movies that's so bad it's actually entertaining to watch.
Yes, I see your point.
There is a thing. There's the spectrum of bad movies. The spectrum of bad movies is, here's what, there are the mediocre movies, which are meh. They're not good. One, there's the boring movies. That's pretty self-explanatory, which is basically the movies that put you to sleep, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Then you have the mediocre movies, which are it's a movie. It's not good. It's not bad. It exists. Then you have the so bad it's good, which are movies that are so shitty, but yet you can still be entertained by them. And yes, listen, and then you have the shit shows, the movies that are just so god awful.
They're terrible.
Oh, we're going to get to some of those tonight, folks. Don't worry.
Oh, get ready. Buckle up, everyone.
But this is a movie that, yes, I'm not going to sit here and pretend this movie is The Godfather or Citizen Kane. It's a shitty movie. But you know what? I am entertained by it. Like when Tommy Wiseau has a fit. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just the bad acting, the bad, I did not eat her. And when Tommy and Mark are sitting down, and then Mark talks about a girl he knows who was hit, and then Tommy laughs. That's not supposed to be taken seriously.
Mm.
And it's a film that is not it's not supposed to be viewed as a masterpiece, but yet people find it enjoyable. But you know what? JT, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. What do you think?
I would say so. I mean, look, all film is subjective. There are, I guarantee there's probably like not a big group, but there's probably a group of people who are like, this is the greatest movie ever. You know what I mean? And I
Like, I'm
understand
not going to
that.
sit here and act like it's the greatest movie ever. Like, Justin and I will quote it to each other, but we do it because we find it entertaining, not because we find it deep. And
It's not Shawshank Redemption.
yeah, we do it because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. So,
You know what I mean? We do it because it's fun. And
and
you
fun
know
things
what
are great.
scene probably has the best acting in the movie?
What's that?
When Denny, that kid right there, when he's on the rooftop and it finds out he's doing drugs, and it's like, and the guy's like, "Where's my money, Denny?" I'll get it to you in about 5 minutes. I don't minutes, Denny. And I'm like, this is probably the best acting in the whole film.
Probably.
This is the best acting in the whole film. That guy should get an Oscar. Where's my money? And then,
oh my God.
But then a lot of the things here there are things in this movie that don't make sense. Like Lisa's mom going, well, I got the test results back. I have breast cancer. Not that I'm making fun of breast cancer. That's in the movie. Do we hear from that again? Of course we don't. Or the scene I just talked about, Denny's drug problem. I bought some drugs off him, and then Lisa's mom is like ready to kill him. Lisa's mom is getting ready to kill him, and then she's like, and then she's like, somebody better do something. And
yeah,
and it's bad.
Oh, it's bad.
But,
it's
and
bad.
You know what? Denny's drug problem, is that mentioned again? Go ahead. Don't be shy. Answer the question. Is that answered again? Is that brought up? Does Denny go get help?
Does he?
It's never mentioned again.
Oh my God.
And so but why do you say The Room is hard to watch? Because I'll admit it's a bad movie, but I can have fun with it.
I think my mind is like, whenever I sit down to watch a movie, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this for what it is. It could be like a rom-com. It could be a comic book movie. It could be whatever. But when it comes to something like this, it just didn't hit me the way that I thought it would. I mean, maybe pre-existing notions of like, oh, like this movie's terrible, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That kind of may have come into play. I'm not sure, But when I was like watching, I was like, I just can't watch this. It was for what it was worth. It was very entertaining. Don't get me wrong, like Bill said. But for me, I'm just like, oh my God, what is happening?
Oh, JT, why you think my movie bad? I was going to send you autograph poster of it.
Hi, Tommy. How are you?
Hi. Oh, hi. Why don't you send me? Why don't you like my movie? I was going to send you autograph poster.
I'm not sure there, Tommy. I will say, I mean, it's
He came back, didn't he?
Yes, Bill, he came back.
Damn it, Tommy, stay away. And you know what I want to know? What the heck? Where the hell is that accent?
Maybe it's just his own like developed accent, no?
Like he goes, oh, I'm from France, or I'm from here. And where the hell is he? And you know what? Because before we move on, here's things that people don't know about Tommy Wiseau. They don't know where he's from, how old he is, or where he got the money to make the movie.
That's weird.
Nobody even knows how old he is.
That's even, oh God, that's, oh man, sketchiness at its finest.
And nobody even knows where he is now. He's hiding somewhere. Yeah, but
I don't know, man.
Anyway, The Room. Yeah, you have issues with it, but I find it hysterical.
I really have to rewatch it and just make it look like a satire, basically. I have to rewatch it in that aspect of like it's gonna be a satire.
It's basically the satire of a satire.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, and before we move on, yes, I finally got enough press and stuff and push and whatnot to say, yes, Bill, we are going to be doing a 2023 movie commentary celebrating the 20th anniversary of The Room. Bill is, you can't, for those of you listening to us, you can't see this, but Bill's smile on his face is grinning. It's crazy.
Justin, Dr. Hemsley, we could use your help.
Yes, shout out to our good friends.
Yeah. So anyway, and you may be seeing some of our good friends next week. We won't tell you which ones, but we'll explain at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll explain that towards the end.
Yeah,
but yeah. All right,
so
that was my pick. What is your pick, my good man?
Okay, I'm gonna go on a little more emotional note here. It's a movie called $1 Million Baby.
I don't think I've even heard of this. Oh, I feel like I have. No, I have. Sorry, I take it back. I have.
Okay, so what's the plot of the movie is Maggie, played by Hilary Swank, who, congratulations, she's having twins. So congratulations, Miss Swank. We wish you the best. She is a female boxer who goes for the advice of Frankie, played by, of course, Clint Eastwood.
Yes, Clint.
And he turns her down a few times, and then he finally accepts to be her trainer. And she starts becoming a sensation, and then she goes on to fight for the championship. And this is when, and okay, here's a quick thing. He nicknames her Makushna. Hold on to that for a second. It's going to come back into relevance in a second, I promise.
I got it. It's right here.
Makushna. JT, you're holding on to it. Good man.
I'm holding on to it. Makushna, what do we got?
You are a good guy. But anyway, the film is very Makushna. Okay, so Maggie goes to fight for the championship. And she ends up getting just... Okay, this is where the film starts becoming hard to watch. One, she gets absolutely pummeled in the first round. And then the second round, she gets basically destroyed, and she ends up landing on a stool, which ends up making her paralyzed.
That's sad.
I'm not gonna lie. The last third of this movie is absolutely heartbreaking to watch. It's okay. I'm gonna give spoilers, JT. Do you care?
Nope. Go ahead.
There was a thing earlier in the movie when Makushna, Molly, played by Hilary Swank, tells Frankie about her dog named Axel, and saying that they had to, because Axel was suffering, they had to end his suffering.
Okay.
And Maggie, who is now paralyzed, asks Frankie to end her suffering. And this goes to the, and because throughout the film, it's okay, Maggie Makushna, whatever her name is, she doesn't come from the best family. They take advantage of her. They're trying to, now that she's basically incapacitated, they want her money, and she tells them to kick rocks. Because I actually read, this was actually a short story, by the way. In the short story, Frankie, Clint Eastwood's character, he gets into a thing with Maggie's brother, and Frankie ends up punching him in the face.
Oh,
But that didn't show that in the movie, and I wish they did because it's Clint Eastwood. Come on.
it is Clint.
I may disagree with Clint Eastwood on some things, but come on. That would have been awesome to watch. But anyway, he's struggling. He's talking to his priest and goes, you can't do it. You can't end her suffering. And then he goes, and you know, like, listen, I know this is a big debate, and this has a lot of moral, religious, and ethical connotations to it. And listen, regardless on what side of the debate you are on, I respect your opinion. And thank you. Good night. God bless. But anyway, he then decides, he brings in some chemical stuff and he puts it in her IV, and he says, Makushina goes, it means my darling, my daughter. And then Maggie dies.
That's sad.
Now, I remember I watched this in a film class in college.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just walking out of that class, watching that movie. I was just absolutely speechless. Not in a good way. I was absolutely. Oh my God. It's really hard to watch.
I can imagine. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it is.
It's a really hard film to watch, and it's just, and you know, it's really, you know, you basically watch someone wanting to end their suffering. And, you know, when this movie actually came out, there was a lot of controversy with that scene.
I didn't know that.
There was a lot of controversy. A lot of, you know, religious organizations were saying, you know, no, we shouldn't show people wanting to end their lives. Every life is sacred.
Right.
And if you believe that, you know, that's your belief, and I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there were also disability advocates who were not happy about it, because they were saying basically people's lives are basically useless if you're in a wheelchair, and that's sending a bad message. But you know what, that's a debate for a whole nother video.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a tough movie to watch, especially that last third. And when he died, and also we get a narration from Morgan Freeman, so something good is in this.
Gotta love Morgan Freeman.
And then we're wondering, because there's like a whole story with Frankie and his daughter. And then like after Frankie gives Maggie the thing, and he just disappears, and Morgan Freeman goes, Frankie never returned after that. Nobody knows where he is. You know, because there's this whole talk about that. Did Frankie maybe go reconcile with his daughter, or maybe is Morgan Freeman's character writing this letter to Frankie's daughter? Nobody knows. It's one of those things you will never know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the scene right there when she gets hit on the stool.
Oh,
that looks painful, doesn't it?
That does.
Yeah. So that's my pick, $1 Million Baby.
All righty. Bill has chosen his pick.
My first pick.
His first pick, sorry. My next pick is a little bit more on the comical. So again, because when we decided to do this topic tonight,
I think I was pretty vague about it, but
no, but it's not whether or not we were vague or not. It's just like it's a topic where like you can go either way with it. You can go very emotional, or you can go very like it's just a stupid movie kind of thing. You know what I mean?
and you know what? I think it works that we combine these ideas together
I agree. So on that note,
because both of us have different meanings of what we mean by hard to watch.
yeah, like it's a hard. Like if someone says to you, "Oh, this is a hard movie to watch," you could just say, "Oh, well, what do you mean?" Like, and then you elaborate and say, "I can't watch it because this happens, or I can't watch it because this happens, and then this happens." You know, it depends on which way you look at it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a good topic for tonight. All righty. You ready?
I'm ready.
Batman and Robin. I know we're going from a very serious topic with $1 Million Baby to a horrible movie called Batman and Robin. Allow me first, please. This movie successfully killed the superhero movie franchise, a super genre from the 80s into the 90s. Like from Superman the movie up until this movie, like comic book movies were thriving up until this movie. This movie, I've gone on this tangent before, but I'll just emphasize a couple points really quick. This movie killed a genre, and then it got resurrected with X-Men in 2000 and Spider-Man 2002, and then onward and so forth from there. This movie, though, the thing that if this was 1997, the thing that Spider-Man 3 and X-Men The Last Stand came out 10 years after this, which are still better movies than this. But this one was just awful. I mean, there's almost nothing redeemable about this movie too. I rewatched it. God, I want to say 4-5 years ago, maybe. Just on a whim, I was like, let me just. I have it. Sadly, I have the 4-disc Blu-ray because they just include them in there, whatever. Kind of like the Superman ones, like Superman's 1 through 4. You know what I mean? And they had this one in there, and I was like, I was like, yeah, I would just watch it, whatever, right? So I rewatched it. And sure enough, Bill, it was even worse than I thought. It was
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow.
The fact that you had George Clooney as Batman with a talented cast of George Clooney as Batman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who you got to admit though, you know, he really couldn't. He was just on the cusp of like getting really serious with acting and stuff like that. At the time, he was a big actor at the time, too. Chris O'Donnell as Robin, I thought was a great casting choice. And Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy and Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Great casting. The movie sucked, though. The movie was terrible. It was a terrible movie. Oh, my God. It was awful. I purposely choose that this movie and the one I'm going to talk about, my next pick, don't exist. It's just the whole suit designs of like, they just magically just switch bat suits at some point to like from Escape from Poison Ivy's lair to stop Mr. Freeze or whatever. It was, and all the weird lighting in it too. The neon lighting in it, the so many questionable choices in this movie. So many just questionable things about this movie. I can see why it's in stock on Amazon and not on and not for sale. It's terrible. I mean, and the sad part is that Warner Brothers and DC still make money off the DVD sales because they just include it in the box sets of it. And it's like, no, it's terrible. It's a terrible. Literally, they gave Robin a terrible logo instead of the R. It's like a giant. It looks like Nightwing, basically. It's so stupid. But like I said, you had great cast. You had a lot of talent in this movie, and the movie was awful. Plus, your plot doesn't make sense. Your plot does not make sense.
JT, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age!
Oh. We should have done a movie commentary on this because it turned 25 this year.
Well, if we don't do it this year. We can always do it next year.
We could always shoot it and then upload it on New Year's Day.
All is quiet on New Year's Day.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, this is a movie.
Oh my God.
I would put this in the so bad it's good comment.
I would say it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's like, you know what? Here's the thing. And here's, you need some context. After Batman Returns, the studio didn't like the dark direction because a lot of parent groups were complaining about how dark it was. So Burton and Keaton went bye-bye, and in came Joel Schumacher. And that started with Batman Forever because they wanted something safe and marketable.
Which is on my list, by the way. I'll get to that in a little bit.
But, yeah, you know what? I'll save my comments for Batman for Batman Forever when we get there.
All right, fair enough.
What was that?
I said, all right, fair enough. But go on.
But you know what? Batman and Robin, it's so, you know what? Here's the thing. If you watch it as a Batman movie, you're going to be severely disappointed.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you watch this as a satire, it is comedy gold.
That's a fair point. I will give you that.
Like, if you watch it as a satire, it's hilarious. Like, okay, like there's like different types of like comedic stuff here. Here you can at least, and like when we were talking about with The Room, like how there are bad movies, and trust me, there's a bad movie I'm gonna get to, which you're gonna have the pleasure of seeing me have a stroke this evening. How lovely is that?
Oh God.
But anyway, at least you can. But this, and I would even put The Room in this category. You can at least laugh at how bad these movies are.
Yeah,
you can
that's true.
Laugh at them, at how bad they are. But there are some movies that are so bad that you want to take a freaking sledgehammer and smack the TV you watched it on.
Yeah, I will say though. I mean, the actors did the best they could with the characters, though. I mean, George Clooney's Bruce Wayne was pretty good.
I agree.
I mean, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. Like, come on, we're going to freeze everyone up. It's going to be incredible. I've been holding that one in for a while.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
It's so, and the neon lights and the suits and the action scenes, and it's just so cringeworthy.
At least you can give Joel Schumacher credit for this. At least he apologized.
Yeah, that's actually true. At least he apologized for it.
He said, if anyone out there at least marginally liked Batman Forever, I'm sorry, and I take responsibility. Like,
yeah, good for him.
And you know what? I'm sorry, I have to. Bane is so freaking stupid in this movie.
Oh my God, I forgot he was in there.
JT, Bane.
I literally forgot. Bane looked like comic book Bane, but it came off so bad.
Okay. Or, of course, the scene that everybody talks about, though.
Which one?
How are you going to pay for that? Ching! Never leave the cave without it.
Oh, you just reminded me of the Bat credit card.
In the words of Doug Walker. If you watch Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, he has this joke in his Batman and Robin review when he shows the Bat credit card, he just goes nuts. Yeah. And that was a running gag for a while. And when he goes to cons, he said, I can only do that one a con because I need to save my voice. And when I met him, the second time I met him, actually, I remember I went up to him, even though he actually did it at the con. I'm like, Doug, by the way, he goes, what? Bat credit card. And he does this.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so, but I can see why people would find this hard to watch, because if you look at the Tim Burton Batman movies from the late 80s, early 90s, and those were dark and
yeah, well, which a lot of people prefer those, but yeah.
And then here it just went a different direction. You know, I know some people who who actually like the Schumacher movies.
Oh my God.
And that's their personal opinion. If they like that, good for them. What do we always say, JT?
What, all film is
Film is
subjective?
subjective. So some people like that, some people don't.
I don't know. It's just a lot of questionable choices right there. But okay.
All I could say is JT. God bless this movie because no one else will.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so you have anything else to say about Batman and Robin?
Other than that, it's a terrible movie. If you want to watch it and get, have a nice alcoholic beverage with it, by all means, go ahead.
There's the Batman and Robin drinking game.
Yes, and drink responsibly, mind you.
No, because if we were to play this game, we'd probably be dead of alcohol poisoning.
Probably.
So, Batman and Robin. God bless this movie. You know why?
Why?
Because no one else will.
Exactly. So.
Okay. So, you ready for my pick?
Yeah. What do you got, Bill?
I got another tough one, JT. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Okay. Have you ever heard of this movie? It's called American History X.
Actually, yeah, I have. I haven't seen it, but I do know what you're talking about. American History X, right?
X.
With
yes.
with Edward Norton, not the meme. Sorry.
Yeah, the movie itself, it's tough to watch, but there are parts of it that can be a little bit uplifting, and you can get the premise of it.
Okay.
Okay, Edward Norton plays Danny, who is a neo-Nazi who got arrested for killing and got sent to prison for killing 2 black men. And he was in prison, and then in the beginning of the movie, he gets out. And when he gets out, he sees that his younger brother is going down the same path that he went down. And he's terrified. And you know what? It shows that what's so good about this movie is, I hate to get all sociological here, but
go ahead.
I think what's so good about this movie is that what causes what causes Edward Norton's issues was his father, because he was racist and was killed by a black man. And there is a quote by Nelson Mandela that I think sums that up perfectly. And it goes like this: no one is born hating another human being. Someone has to teach you to hate another human being. But you know what? There's also this other part of the quote that says no one's born loving someone. You have to learn as much as you... Okay, I don't think that's the exact quote, but the fact is no one is born to hate. Someone has to teach you hate. But then, he gets out and he's trying to get his brother off that path. And they show flashbacks to when he was in prison and he was in the skinhead gangs.
Right.
And how he was out. They didn't like that he was dealing with other gangs of other races.
Mm-hmm.
And then he oh wait, no. Edward Norton's character is named Derek, not Danny. But then when he starts when he gets laundry room duty, when Edward Norton's character gets laundry room duty, he gets it with a black man. And it takes time, but they start getting along with each other.
All right.
They start getting along with each other. And then they start getting along with each other. And then they become good friends. And then when the gang is, I don't think I should even describe this scene. There is a scene, I'm going to try to make this as vague as possible.
Take your time.
There is a scene when the neo-Nazi gang finds out that he's being buddies with a black guy, and they do something to him in the shower.
It's like a Psycho moment?
I don't even want to describe it.
Okay, no, it's right. I haven't seen the movie, so
they do something in the shower to him.
Okay.
And then he's visited by his mentor, who is believe it or not, one of his mentors who's actually his principal, who is a black man, who at first he loves, because there's a flashback him saying like, oh my God, the guy's brilliant. He's got 2 PhDs.
Yeah.
But he's got this neo-Nazi mentor named Cameron, who's this older gentleman. And you can tell that and it's like he's stuck between Cameron and Dr. whatever his name is. And when he gets out of prison, when he sees that his brother is still into this neo-Nazi stuff, and he's like, you know what? I got to get Danny off this path and get him on the right path. And when his brother sneaks out to a party, which is run by Cameron, there is this scene when Edward Norton's character and Cameron are just screaming at each other. And I love this scene when he's yelling at him and he's saying, and when Cameron goes, I want you to be a new leader in my organization. And he goes, no, I'm done. He goes, I lost 3 years of my life because of your BS. And I'm on to you, snake. And then he goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you prey on people. You got the next crop all lined up for you to take the fall for you. And he goes, you know what? And he goes, I'm out. And Danny is out too. And if you even come near my family, I'm going to rip your throat out. And so Edward Norton and his brother first the brother is resistant, but then he tells him about the incident in the shower. And then they walk home. And this scene is so powerful. They start taking all their neo-Nazi stuff down.
Yeah.
Which is a show that, you know what, we need to change. And then the next day, okay, the ending is really hard. The day before, Danny, Edward Norton's brother, had an interaction with another student, and that student's in the bathroom, and he takes a gun out and shoots Danny and kills him. And then Edward Norton finds out about it, runs, and is holding Danny in his arms. And it really shows you what that lifestyle does to someone.
Absolutely.
And, and like, listen, it's hard to watch. This movie is hard to watch. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. I think this movie is very important to watch. This is a very important film to watch. because it really shows you how people get involved in these type of groups.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually very interesting. How do people get involved in if anyone's like taking a psychology class or a sociology class, I highly recommend you give this movie a watch.
Yeah.
Like, no, there are scenes that are going to make you uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. There are scenes that are going to make you uncomfortable. But you know what? I think sometimes we need to feel uncomfortable. And we need to have discussions that people don't want to have. And I highly recommend this movie, and I highly recommend you give it a watch. But there are scenes that, again, that you might have to, if you need to fast forward, I understand.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, JT, you haven't seen the movie, but anything you've said after what I just told you, or?
I mean, you made me want to watch it. I have not seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But based on what you're telling me, this is definitely one I should definitely check out one night. You know.
Okay. Over to you.
My turn.
Yes.
All right. I only have two more. Okay.
Okay.
Two more, but it's funny. Bill mentioned a key word just now. He said the word uncomfortable. And I'm not and full disclosure, if you don't care about certain things, whatever, just hear me out for a sec. This with what I'm about to the movie I'm about to pick is nowhere am I about to get political. I am not about to get any sort of socially aware. I'm just telling you that this movie that I saw, God, several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, but it still resonates with me and based on reading the book as well. And that's To Kill a Mockingbird. There are some points in this movie, there are some points in this movie where you do feel uncomfortable, especially in that courtroom scene with what's going on. And it's funny, Bill said some stuff about like why you should watch American History X nowadays. Again, I'm not going to get political tonight. It's not my job. That is a politician's job, and my job is to entertain you, and Bill's job is to entertain you. That is not our job to get political.
But you know what? We also can provide perspectives and inform the lovely folks who listen to us.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say this court scene, this one scene out of this whole movie. I mean, yes, the book and the movie itself of To Kill a Mockingbird is very it's about Boo Radley, and it's about like it's about Boo Radley and Atticus Finch and all that stuff. And yeah, I understand all that, but at the heart of it, what makes this movie great and one of the best films of all time in my eyes is To Kill a Mockingbird's courtroom scene, where Bill said this at one point too on the show. It's made to make you feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's not meant to make you feel like, well, they just no. It's not meant to make. It's not the courtroom scene in To Kill a Mockingbird is not to make you feel like, oh well, like it's designed. The film is made. The book is made to make you feel a certain way about certain things going on in the outside of the book or the movie. I mean, in the world as well. That's all I'm going to say as far as that goes. But this is a great example of hard movies to watch. Truthfully, Bill, I
know you hate getting political here.
No. I'm not getting political. But what I'm saying is though, I'm not getting political, period. What I will say about this court scene though, in this movie, it made me teary-eyed. It made the scene, the art, the movie made me go to tears a little bit because of what was going on in this scene in this movie. It was very emotional for me. It drove me to a different point of like, wow, movies can actually have that. Not just movies of like today of the past 20, 25 years. a movie of any time period can move you. I mean, I would argue that I haven't seen it, but I mean, I would argue my parents have seen it. But Life is Beautiful with Roberto Benigni. That's a very powerful. The ending of it, I haven't seen it, but they told me that the ending will make you cry no matter what. I gotta do that on my own time. But yeah, but like To Kill a Mockingbird, the movie is made to make you think a little bit, made to make you feel a little bit differently. That it's its job. And if you don't like that, that's understandable. All film is subjective, all art is subjective, all books, movies, music, and television, whatever, right? And paintings too. But I feel like this is a good example. A movie that made me feel, wow, this is what movies can do. And I really got that out of this movie, To Kill a Mockingbird. The movie from 1962. It just celebrated its 60th anniversary. I believe it's coming back in theaters. No, it was just in theaters back in November for a re-release. I know that. So
may I chime in here?
Yes, go ahead.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said.
Thank you. By the way, I wasn't trying to hog anything. Forgive me, but go ahead.
It's your channel. You can hog all you want.
All right, damn it, we're done tonight. No, I'm just kidding.
What was that?
No, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We're done. I quit. No, I'm just kidding. What was I saying?
You were going to say how you agree with me.
I agree with you on everything you just said, because what I would just say with American History X, I think we need to feel uncomfortable when we talk about certain topics, and I think this movie is relevant to today's world.
Yeah.
Like what we've just been, not getting political, but what we've seen in the past couple of years with racial tensions. I think that is a very important movie to watch.
I would argue you should watch it now in 2022 or 2023, and then you'll get a perspective on things differently too. Yeah.
And I love that speech Atticus gives in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah.
It was, by the name of God, gentlemen, do your duty. But you know what? It really, but you know what? Because there was, and I think I brought this up before, JT. There was actually a school district, I don't know where, that actually banned this book. That tried to ban this book.
You know why? Tell me that. Why? Because it made them uncomfortable?
Because it made them feel uncomfortable. Let me respond to that school district, if that's okay.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
That's the fucking point.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel uncomfortable while reading this. You're supposed to feel something. You're supposed to say, wow, Tom Robinson's really getting treated like shit. We shouldn't treat people like that. You're supposed to learn something. This is why I put such an importance on feeling uncomfortable during certain movies, JT. You know why?
Why?
Because if you feel uncomfortable, you know what? It makes you think, you know what? I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't treat other people like this.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? It makes you aware of the world that you're in, of the things that we've seen going around with Eric Gardner and Michael Brown and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Like, it's supposed to make you aware. It's supposed to get you out of your stupid bubble of ignorance and, learn about the world and learn about shit like this. But everybody's like, no, I don't want to. Feelings are bad. And I'm sorry, that makes me angry.
No, and rightfully so. I understand why.
That school district, you just want these kids to be freaking morons.
And mindless. And
like, oh, we don't want to challenge you and make you think. Because, you know what, JT? You know what would be the worst thing about that?
What?
It made them think.
Exactly.
Isn't that awful?
Oh, it's awful. Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, but no, if you read something complicated, it's supposed to help you grow. It's supposed to help you grow as a person.
I agree.
And any school district that wants to not have their kids read this book because they want them to be in the bubble of ignorance, that's your problem.
Absolutely.
That is your problem. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This has been TED Talks with Bill.
This one's free. Next one, I have to start charging.
Yes. Bottom line, though, To Kill a Mockingbird. A great book. Great book. Don't get me wrong. But the movie as well was
amazing.
A mesmerizing film. And yes, this year, we're getting close to the end of 2022, but 2022 marked 60 years of this movie being released. And if you have not seen To Kill a Mockingbird, get on it now. It's one of those movies where you can actually just like it's outside of the courtroom case. It's actually got a really good story too with Boo Radley and Atticus Finch's daughter and stuff. It's a really, really great movie overall. And Gregory Peck, my God, he one of the pillars of Hollywood legends right there, as Atticus. So just brilliant. Need I say more? I think we're good.
I agree.
All right, cool. So, all right, now it's over to you, my guy. That was my pick for To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay, I got two more picks, like you do. This one, you got one more, right?
No. This was one of my two. This was one, and then I got one more. So you go, okay. Me, then you.
Okay, the next one, another tough one here. And next year, this movie celebrates its 30th anniversary. Schindler's List.
You know, it's funny. I was not going to put this on my list, but I actually agree with you on this one. Go ahead.
You thought I was going to bring it up, didn't you?
I didn't think I knew. I knew you were going to bring it up. But go on.
Well, this is what happens when we've done this together so long.
Yes, absolutely. Does this count as a swipe right or no?
Maybe we shouldn't be yelling about this better movie about the Holocaust. So
yes, fair enough. But yes, but Bill and I thought very long and hard on this one. Yep. But go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Okay, Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Okay. We've talked about this movie before, and here's the Cliff Notes version. It's about the life of Oskar Schindler, who is a factory owner who saved the lives of thousands of Jews during the Holocaust. And one, I just have to say, this movie is long.
Yeah, it's what, 3 hours and what, 10 minutes?
3 hours and 16 minutes long.
Hey, Avatar 2 is 5 minutes shorter. I'm just kidding. Go on.
Okay, but this movie is a long film.
Yeah.
It is about the like I said, it's about Schindler's Jews, and folks, this isn't the warm and fuzzy movie. Like, this movie's gonna really make you uncomfortable, and there are scenes that are hard to watch. One of the scenes that is very hard to watch, in my opinion, is a scene when Oskar Schindler is over in the next town and he thinks it's snowing outside, but it's actually the ashes of the people they burn.
It's very sad.
And also, like, that scene before that, when they're rounding up the Jews and they're taking them out of their homes and putting them in camps, and they show that it is so hard to watch. And it's just such a... And of course, there is that, and I could go on and on forever and of why this movie is tough to watch. But of course, I've talked about this enough, but I think it needs to be mentioned. The last 20 minutes, the movie is... The war is over. Oskar Schindler is worried that the Allies are coming and they're going to arrest him. And all the Jews who are thankful that they saved their life, they make him a ring. You know what scene I'm talking about. They make him a ring. And right before they're about to leave, they give it to him and they put in Hebrew, one man who saves one life saves the world entire. And he just starts breaking down. He starts just breaking down and crying. And he's like, I could have done more. I could have sold this coat. I could have sold the ring. I could have done more. And they said, you've done enough. You've done enough. And they're walking out. And he puts on the prisoner outfit and drives away. And then they show the Jews being liberated by the Soviet army and then finding new homes. And then they show Eamon Goth, who is the villain in this movie. Was a real person, by the way. They show what happened to him. He got hung. And you know what his last words were?
What's that?
His last words were, Heil Hitler. I'm like, yeah, how'd that work out? Not that we're laughing at this movie, but it's ironic. It's ironic. Like, yeah, how did that work? But then the scene that I cannot watch this scene without crying. They show the actors who played Schindler's Jews and the real people. And they're walking by Oscar Schindler's grave. The beautiful score by John Williams is playing. And they're putting stones on the grave, because in Jewish custom, that's like how we put flowers on the grave. They put stones.
Yeah.
And then the last shot is Liam Neeson. You don't see his face. You just see him from the waist down. He's putting a flower on Oscar Schindler's grave. And then when it fades out, it says, in memory of the 6 million Jews that Adolf Hitler murdered. And this is a tough film to get through. It's long. It's emotionally draining. I'm going to give you all advice here. If you don't think you can sit through this movie in one sitting, I understand. If you need to break it up, do it. I just want to say about any of these movies, if you don't think you can watch these movies, then we understand.
Absolutely.
That doesn't make you weak. It means you know your limits. And if this movie is going to cause you emotional drainage, like I did say, when I said when we talk about To Kill a Mockingbird, that it's okay to feel uncomfortable. But yeah. I also believe there's limits. Like if any of these type of things are going to be damaging to your mental or emotional being, then shut it off. And we understand.
Yeah. That's been yeah, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
And what was so... After this film was released and Steven Spielberg won Best Director, I'm not going to forget how he ended his speech. He said, and this is for the 6 million people who couldn't be watching this telecast tonight. Thank you. And then when he won Best Picture and got up and made his second speech, he said, do not leave the Holocaust as a historical footnote. Teach it in your schools. And that I 100% agree with. Like, it's a part of history that's going to make you, like any part of history is going to make you uncomfortable. And I think, this movie is very hard to watch. It shows you that the horrors of it, but it also shows you that there were people who were willing to help and that they were, quote, in another World War II movie, Valkyrie, that not all of us were like the Nazis.
Right.
So please give this movie a watch. But like I said, if it makes you really, then if you can't watch it, you can't watch it.
Of course.
And we understand. All right, JT, what's your next one?
All right, my last one, believe it or not, because then you have one more pick, right?
I have one more pick. And the next one, remember how I said the next, there was one that was going to get me like super, super angry?
That's the next one.
Oh, that's the next one, folks.
Oh, God. Well, just careful screaming into the mic there.
I'll turn it down just in case.
All right, good to know. My last pick of the night is a movie that actually came out around the same time, actually, as To Kill a Mockingbird, now that I think about it. But it for some reason, one of the beautiful things about Alfred Hitchcock is his ability to direct. He takes simple things and make them really, really scary. And truthfully, this was, all joking aside, well, I could go one or the other, but I'm going to go with the more popular one here. One of his movies that he made was called Psycho. Psycho, the movie in 1960. This movie, I remember sitting in film class at the time, right? And I'm sitting in film class, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna watch Psycho for the first time. The way the shots are executed, the whole Bates Motel, like the hotel scenes and stuff like that. Honestly, you want to talk? I'm not a really big horror guy personally. I'm not a big Halloween guy or Nightmare on Elm Street guy. That's not really my style of horror. But classic horror, like stuff like this, gets me all the time, and I'll watch it because I enjoy it. But at the same time, it's like I get really scared, or just it's hard to watch this movie because I've already seen it once or twice. But the fact that there's certain scenes in this movie where like she's driving away and she thinks that someone's following her, and really that it's death following her and whatnot, and in a car, but it looks like that. And there's a scene where, then it's a scene where she finally gets to the hotel, and it's like the Norman Bates, that's his name. Norman Bates checks her in, and this I don't know who plays this guy, but this actor, but I forget the actor's name. But he is, listen, the fact of watching movies from a certain time period, especially the late 50s into the 60s, that was a very interesting time period for filmmaking. But this is a pivotal moment for a lot of that, because it's hard for me to watch sometimes knowing that I'm eventually going to get to the shower scene. I'm eventually going to get to that scene where it's like, shh, 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 and then it's eventually, I know that, but there's something that's really difficult for me to watch as the buildup of this movie happens. Like this, because let's face it, toward the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, excuse me, is that shower scene that what's the actress's name? Janet Leigh. She's the one in the shower scene. And the fact that you kind of follow this character, and it is a scary psychological thing, but it's also hard for me personally. It's hard to watch something like that happen to a character who's just like, yeah, I'm going to go away for the weekend, and then like whatever, and then she ends up dead. That's scary, yes, but it's hard for someone like me to watch people get into harm. That's just how I am. So that's why I wanted to pick this movie, because I rewatched it. I want to say during the quarantine, during lockdown in 2020, and I watched this again on my own time. I was like, I just gotta watch it again. I gotta watch it one more time. I was like when you have a fix for something, when you want to watch, when you have a craving to watch or listen to something, you know what I'm talking about? But like I like every once in a while, I gotta listen to Chicago. You know what I mean? I have that craving in my mouth almost. Like I gotta hear it or gotta watch it. And I had that moment. Like I said, I gotta watch Psycho. So I watched it and I was like, oh my God. I forgot how brilliant the buildup of this movie is. And it's really difficult to watch Janet Leigh's character go through what she went through. It's very difficult for someone like me to watch. This might sound like a weird pick, but it's for me personally, it's hard to watch this movie. Bill, do you have any comments for this or no?
Okay, let the hate begin. I've never watched it.
Okay, it's okay. Second movie commentary coming soon. I'm just kidding.
I'd watch it. But I will say the famous shower scene.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, his father said he knew someone who got a clear shower curtain so he could see who was coming in the shower because he was terrified of taking a shower after this movie.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, as you should be. I mean, if let's face it. So
just as a certain movie shut down a recreational activity, and JT's father will never let me forget that.
Yes, my dad will forever get you on that. The Jaws, it was a Jaws shut down swimming, ladies and gentlemen. This is the truth.
This a lot of people probably smelled because they probably didn't want to take showers after they watched this movie.
Probably, truthfully, but yeah, I mean, do you have any other? I mean, that shower scene after she dies. I mean, spoilers for the movie. I mean, just saying, but but after Janet Leigh dies in the movie, she actually you could kind of see how the oh god, what's it? You could see the life exiting her eyes in that one shot there. I think that was brilliant, truthfully. And Hitchcock was a pioneer. If you're a young filmmaker out there listening to us and you don't know who Alfred Hitchcock is, get on it and study his work. He is one of the GOATs. He is up there with Spielberg and Kubrick and Scorsese and you name it. So yeah, he's up there for sure. I'm a big Hitchcock fan too. So, but yeah, Psycho is my last pick of the evening. Bill, what do you got, Bill? What's your last pick of the night?
Okay, are you ready?
I'm slightly scared. What is it?
Okay. You know, in the beginning of this podcast, I explained the spectrum of bad movies. The mediocre movies, the boring movies, the so bad it's good, and then there's the straight up crap shows. This is a movie like the other bad movies that we discussed, like Batman and Robin in the Room. Those are movies I can laugh at how bad they are.
Right.
This is a movie that deeply, deeply offends me of how bad it is. It is a movie called Music. It was made in 2021. Sia. Okay. Prepared for me to go into rage mode. This is a movie that is just straight. Calling this movie offensive is being too kind. This movie shouldn't be seen by human eyes. This film is about a girl named Music who is autistic. And after Music's grandmother dies, she goes into the custody of her half-sister, who is a drug dealer. And the way they portray Music as an autistic person is absolutely disgusting. And the thing is, Music is portrayed by Maddie Ziegler, who is not autistic. And she even said, because Sia, who directed this, Sia, I think, is Maddie's goddaughter. Maddie is Sia's goddaughter. And she said she would feel uncomfortable doing it. She goes, oh, it's okay. And like, listen, we could have a whole discussion about, do I think it's okay for neurotypical actors to play autistic people? Here's the short version of that conversation. Maybe we'll have a bigger conversation about this. Maybe we'll have a bigger conversation about this in April for Autism Acceptance Month. So, that should be an interesting video. What do you think?
I'm all for it. Go ahead.
But The short version is because, a lot of people know that I love the show The Good Doctor, and go, wait a minute, Bill, how can you be mad when Maddie Ziegler, who a neurotypical person, is playing someone autistic, but you're totally okay with Freddie Highmore, who is also neurotypical, who's playing an autistic doctor? And I've said this before, and I will say it again till the cows come home. JT, are the cows home yet?
Not yet. Go ahead.
As long as they play it with dignity, I don't care. As long as they play with dignity, I don't care. Because Freddie Highmore doesn't play Sean in The Good Doctor as a parody. Like Maddie Ziegler plays music as a parody of someone with autism. And it is just downright disgusting. And Sia said, well, I had someone autistic who was going to play who was going to play music, but she couldn't handle it. So I got Maddie Ziegler and said, shut up. Oh, it gets even worse. And there is a scene. I don't know if I can even get through talking about this scene, but I'm going to do it for you, lovely folks, because I love you guys. There is a scene when this guy, the gentleman right here, who has been helping the sister take care of music, and basically shows her how to restrain her. And that means, I'm not going to say this calmly. Shows her holding her on the ground. In practices that have been deemed inappropriate years ago. And if you talk to any expert on autism, no, not just any expert, if you talk to any human being, I'll tell you that is not just inappropriate, that is wrong. That is wrong. And you shouldn't treat people like that. And it is. I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional here. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not sorry, actually. Because as a person who is on the spectrum, this movie offends me. This film is just disgusting. And showing how they restrained someone like that, and then he's showing her how to first he does it to her, and then he's showing the sister how to do it. Please tell me how that's okay. Somebody tell me why that's okay. No, anyone who thinks that, anyone who says in the chat where they think that's okay, I will rip your ass a new one. And JT, I'm sorry, I know you don't like to I know you don't like to lose viewers, but if somebody in that chat says that's okay, do us a favor and unsubscribe. I'm sorry, JT. I know you don't like losing viewers, but
Bill, your health is more important than that to me.
now, because knowing that someone who approves of things like that is watching this channel makes me want to throw up. The thought of that makes me want to throw up. And I know probably none of you do, because you're all good people. But this, and you know what's even worse about this? Okay, after this movie came out, JT, in a just insane universe, if somebody was getting flack about this, a movie like this, how do you think, JT, because you're a smart guy, how do you think in a just insane universe people would react?
I think they'd be rioting.
No, how do you think the director would react if his or her movie caught flack?
I think they'd be upset. I feel like if I was the director of a movie like that, I'd want to take full responsibility for it and then correct my actions after the fact.
Ask me if Sia did that.
Tell me, Bill, did Sia do that?
Absolutely not. You know what she did? She put out a statement. No, she was playing the victim. She was like, oh, at first when the movie caught controversy, she got so much flack. She refused to take responsibility. Like, she would say, hey, I put special needs people in this movie, but I didn't portray them as drug dealers and prostitutes. I portrayed them as doctors and singers. Oh, well done. Well done, Sia. Good job. Good job. You want a pat on the head, Sia? Well done. Good for you. Use a sticker. You didn't portray autistic people as total assholes. Well done. Well done. Good job. No, that's a low bar. That is a low bar. I don't get offended by many things. I really don't. I don't get offended by a lot of things, but this is a movie that downright offends me. And to anyone who just the way that autistic people are portrayed in this movie, the way they show on how to take care of them, the restraint scene, seriously, like, how can people get away with portraying other people like this? How? For the love of God, for the love of all things that are good and holy. How? And this movie, like, I haven't sat through the whole thing. I've watched like a review where they show the movie, like, when they're doing like a commentary, like, this movie shouldn't be seen by anyone who considers himself human. Like, Sia, stop making movies. You tried, you failed, now move on. Don't make another movie. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Even though I just went on a big rant, JT, I literally have nothing else to say about this movie. I literally have nothing else to say.
No, it's you raise valid points, you raise valid ideologies, and you have a reason to be angry. There's nothing wrong with that.
And listen, I don't care if you're autistic or not. If you're human, this movie should make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got to say about this.
Well done.
That's a good way to end this, isn't it?
I'm proud of you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
So, but that's it, right? We don't have any more to talk about?
I have nothing more to talk about.
All righty. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in tonight and watched us live. I want to thank Bill Murphy for doing this show to begin with me. Listen, tonight was a bit of an emotional roller coaster to some extent for us, but I want to actually thank Bill for actually doing it all the time with me and plowing through, being determined, and always being there
Thank you.
And willing to bring up topics that might not be popular but are right for the moment. I appreciate him for that.
Thank you, and thank you, JT. And I know you had to listen to me rant, but thank you for putting up with it. But anyway, we do want to say, let's go on a lighter note for a second.
Yes, what do you got?
Don't forget to tune in next week. Because JT, what's next week?
Oh, so yes.
Next week is our
full disclosure, everyone. I have been so busy lately, and I want to give props to Bill. Bill has been my saving grace. Next week, we're doing our Christmas winter bracket. We're gonna have, I believe, we're gonna have Justin and Allie back
Well,
on for the evening, right?
we'll see. I think
Okay.
Allie said she'd be interested. Let me
Okay.
talk to Justin. Yeah, so that's gonna be our Christmas special. We're gonna have Justin and Allie. We might have Justin and Allie here.
Yep.
If you remember what we did back in June, what we did with the summer movies, we're gonna do the same thing, but with Christmas movies because
Yeah, like Christmas specials, Christmas movies. He's got it all planned out.
I'm still working on one category. Let me tell you, folks, this bracket is not easy to make. And when we do this next week, some relationships might be tested. And will I have JT's father making me any notes about any movies like he will not make me forget about Jaws?
Maybe. You never know. My dad might watch us next week. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Remember, Bill, Jaws shut down a whole summer activity.
It is true. Jaws did do that, though. You can't deny that.
So. It shut down an activity known as swimming.
Yes, which I miss right now. But that's besides the point, though. But yeah, so next week is our Christmas movie bracket. We're gonna do a full on, where we're gonna put this one, where we're gonna put that one. It's kind of like March Madness, but in one show, and we're gonna do one show with a Christmas movie bracket. So please tune in for that next Wednesday.
It's March Madness in December.
It's December Christmas Madness.
You know what? For next year, we should actually do a March Madness bracket. Actually in March.
Yeah, for what? Comic book movies?
Well, we'll discuss that.
We'll figure that out another time.
It's only December. We got 3 months to talk about it.
Plenty of time to talk about that.
Yeah, that's what we got. So tune in next week. If you were kind of drained by the emotional of this one, don't worry. It's Christmas next week. So we have something holly jolly for you. Don't worry.
And remember, when Christmas this year is on a Sunday, well, Christmas is on a Saturday, so it makes your weekend even better. How about that?
And most people have Monday off.
Yes, I have Monday off. Thank goodness.
Isn't that great?
Yes, it's a blessing, Bill. It's a blessing. But yeah,
it's fantastic.
But yeah, but tune in next week for our Christmas bracket. We want to thank you for watching and listening and enjoying our show tonight. And if you've liked what you've seen or heard here, subscribe to us on YouTube simply at The Super Review Show. Follow us on our social media accounts simply at The Super Review Show. And if you haven't already, follow us on podcast format as well. We do this every Wednesday night. Live on YouTube, and then we upload it to Spotify podcast the following day. Again, kudos to Bill. This is a good topic tonight. We've had this sitting on the back burner for a little while, and I'm glad we did this one. So yeah, thank you, Bill.
No problem. So we will see you next week.
Yeah, but for all of us here, so stay safe, take care, and be awesome.
Be awesome. Good night.
And don't forget to check out the
Sports Insanity Network and the Sports Insanity Podcast. And don't forget to check us out tomorrow night for Thursday Night Gridiron.
Yes. I've always said they do such a great job over there. So they're some of the best sports guys out there that I've heard of. So yeah. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe. Take care.